Taylor, congratulations. It's great to catch up with you over there in Tunisia on the back of winning your first pro title on the weekend. That must have been pretty special.
Yeah, it was. It was really cool. It's definitely a goal that I had for myself when I left Perth for this trip was to win at least one pro title. So to get that is a really good feeling. I mean, hopefully I can get another one sometime soon. But yeah, to get that, it was a good feeling, and all my hard work paying off. It was a bit of a slow start to the year, but I'm really happy with how I've been playing since we did leave for this trip, and I think even over the past 2 months playing, I've been improving on a lot of things and getting and getting better at stuff.
Yeah, you made a final in Nottingham. I think you made a couple of semis, and it's been a good period since about April. How long is this trip? Because we always sort of talk about, how long the Aussies have got to spend abroad, and it's not like you can go away for 2 weeks. You've got to spend sort of an extensive period to maximise a trip.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been away for 2 months now. I think we were maybe aiming for maybe 3 months, go home middle of July-ish, but I mean, it just depends how I'm feeling as well and what we decide to do. We don't really know what I'm doing in 2 weeks, let alone um further down the track. So I think we're just going to take it tournament by tournament and see how it goes.
So take us through the week. You had to come through qualifying, which is the
Mhm.
same as Nottingham when you made the final there a couple of weeks ago. So that's not
Yeah.
easy to come through and play that volume of matches. Tell us how the week sort of unfolded. And Monastir, Tunisia is where a lot of the Aussies do ply their trade, both male and female.
Yeah, so I obviously had to go through qualies. I think qualies is a good thing because you get some matches, feel the courts. Obviously, coming from a tournament in Spain, I felt like the courts and the balls were quite different. So to go through qualies gave me sort of a chance to get used to that, start feeling everything better again, and then yeah, just through every round there was one match where we had to play it over 2 days because of the
Mm.
rain. So that was obviously it's a challenge to play a match over 2 days, but yeah, everything obviously went really well, and I'm happy with the week.
I mean, you're projecting nicely. We've been hearing about you, obviously, the last couple of years. I had Talia Gibson on the show last year, fellow Western Australian. So there's something happening in the water over in WA, producing some really good talent. I had your coach on our show, Brad, last year, who
Yeah.
obviously runs the academy in Perth and does a lot of travelling with you. Just tell us about
Mhm.
the partnership between player and coach, which is hugely vital to your success.
Yeah, well, me and Brad have been working together for almost 10 years. So it's a very long time. And obviously, through that time, we've built up a very good player coach relationship. And we know each other, we know how each other sort of work. Um, and yeah, I think it's extremely important to have a good player coach relationship, especially when it's just two of us traveling together. We so yeah, it's very important, and I think it has a lot of impact on how I play and how I go in tournaments.
So you put together a pretty impressive junior record. I think 70, 22, 7 titles, and everything's happened pretty quickly. I mean, every tennis player
Mhm.
goes on a different journey. Some peak earlier, some take longer. There's a school of thought that sometimes it's tougher for the Aussies just logistically and to sort of absolutely crack it in tennis. But do you feel like
Yeah.
you're exceeding your own expectations, or have you always been hugely ambitious at you were ready to hit the ground running and get some get some great results very early on? Because many people out there might know you. I mean, you're just 17. This is really just the beginning, but you're doing some incredible things.
I mean, I feel, yeah, I always have pretty high expectations of myself, but I mean, I think that's natural to to do that to yourself. I think last year it was sort of my first full year of playing the juniors because obviously COVID happened, which it affected my playing junior ITFs quite a lot. So I think playing the juniors last year was a really great experience. It obviously playing the top juniors in the world, they're all extremely good players. So
Hmm.
it taught me a lot as well. And then I think it prepared me well to then start playing more women's this year. And yeah,
Yeah, you've been able to take some scalps, get that international experience. So tell us about where you think your game is at, and what observations do you make about just the game in general? I mean, everyone acknowledges the game is as physical as it's ever been, certainly on the WTA tour, and the level of fitness now needed to really reach the top. So that balance between fitness, the technical, the tactical, just gives a feel for how your game's tracking.
I think pretty well. Tactically, I'm trying to get a little bit better. That's something that I've never really thought too much about. I've normally just thought about what I'm doing and how I'm playing, but we're really trying to also start working on, having one or two things about my opponent to sort of work on and like help me sort of create more of a game plan. Obviously, the women are a bit more physically stronger than the juniors, but that's natural. And I think as I play against them, that's going to help me become also more physically stronger, and obviously fitter as well. So yeah.
For those that don't live in your world, I mean, take us inside that a little bit, because I mean, obviously, to play this sport, the level of commitment is extremely high. It's you in control of your own sort of destiny, and everyone's got a different work ethic, different attitude. But I mean, you can't sort of get away taking any shortcuts in this game, can you?
No, I would say I have a pretty good work ethic. When I'm on the court, I always give it everything I have. Um, started doing more strength work. That was also never really a massive part of what I did. So I've started doing that this year as well, which I think has helped. Obviously, playing against the women as well, I have to be stronger. Otherwise, well, they're a ton stronger than I would be if I hadn't done that. So I think that's a massive part that I've added and has helped. And yeah, giving 100% because you have to, because otherwise it's probably not going to work.
No doubt. And an opportunity to be part of the Billie Jean King Cup team as well, which often happens with the young players, whether it be, Billie Jean King Cup, Davis Cup. Tell us about that experience of hanging around that sort of, older core Australian group.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the highlights of my year last year was going on that trip, just getting to know all the girls a bit better. I mean, I knew some of them, but not very well. So I got to know them all better, just also seeing how they go about their things, warm ups, recovery, how they carry themselves on the court, off the court, just sort of taking in everything and really learning from them. And I think it really helped me a lot and it was a great experience.
I just wanted to ask you, I mean, we obviously do a college segment on our show, and everyone takes a different journey. It's fascinating to listen to, some of the players who go down that pathway. There are others, probably like yourself, and others who just want to sort of hit the circuit. Let's get into it and see how things roll out. What's sort of gone through your mind in that regard, as to in trying to build a tennis career? Did college ever sort of factor in as a consideration, or you've preferred to, do it this way? I know you obviously supported by the NTA, even though you're doing a lot of that work obviously in Perth, but just give us some feeling around just decision making in terms of setting your path.
Personally, I never wanted to go to college. So it was never really something that I had thought about.
Mm.
Obviously, I love being at home. So for me, obviously being away from home, even though I'm doing it now, I feel like it's very different. Um, so I mean, yeah, we never really considered it just because it was never really something that I wanted to do.
And being on the road, you said that, there's you and Brad, and often, tennis
Mhm.
players will say, gee, sometimes it can be a bit of a lonely existence. How do you create sort of your environment away from just playing and practicing? Do you like to get out and sort of see many of these places that you go to? Take us sort of behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's hard being away from home, but we create our own little fun things that we do. So, I mean, yeah, we try and see as much as we can while we're away. Obviously, it's hard when you're playing tournaments because while you're in the tournament, you want to keep, we create really good routines and stick to those while I'm playing.
Mm.
But we do little things like we'll play cards or go for walks or something like that just to keep us busy and also be able to see the places that we're in because normally tennis players don't really get to experience where we are.
No, a lot of hotels and courts and airports.
Yeah.
Hey, taking in a bit of
Hmm.
Roland Garros, I imagine, when you can, taking a look.
Yes, it's on the TV now. I watch as much as I can, obviously, and yeah, it's great to also watch and see like that environment, and hopefully I can be there next year playing.
And playing on clay, it's it's something that we often speak about with the Australian players, and it's not sort of something we've grown up on like the Europeans and the South Americans. But as a surface, do you like playing on the clay? Because it's often the surface that sort of builds your game, doesn't it?
Yeah, personally, it's not my favorite, but I also haven't played on it a lot. The last time I played on it was French Open Juniors last year.
Mm.
So I think if I can play on it more and sort of learn the movements and the different sort of plays and patterns on it, then I think I can definitely learn to enjoy playing on it. So yeah, I think it's just getting more time on it and getting used to it.
So backing up in Tunisia this week, another tournament,
Yeah.
and then what happens after that? What's the next little period look like?
Well, hoping to jump on the grass because obviously I love playing on the grass. I got the opportunity last year to
Yeah.
play in Hertogenbosch, so hopefully there's another opportunity there for me, but we sort of have to still wait and see on that. But yeah, definitely jumping on the grass. So yeah,
Well, great to catch up with you. We love chatting to the Aussies abroad and keeping everyone up to date back here. You're a name we're keeping a close eye on, and to win your first pro title is something you'll always remember. And I'm sure there's many great things to come in the future.
thank you.